Hey gang, what's going on? Welcome to Talking Vegas All Day with KA. I'm your host KA, and on today's episode, I'm going to be sharing some more Halloween ghost stories of places in Las Vegas that claim to be haunted on the Strip, downtown, and all over Las Vegas. And whether or not there actually are haunted, or even if you believe in that stuff, there are still some great stories for this Halloween season. Which leads me to my question. Have you ever had a paranormal experience while visiting Las Vegas? If you have, please comment. I'd love to hear from you. And make sure to hit that like button. If you like the show, please leave a comment, or even better, click subscribe. And if you want to interact with me on social media, I'm on Twitter at _Vegas_KA and on Instagram and Facebook at Talking Vegas All Day with KA. Also, the show is available on Apple and Spotify platforms as well. And with that, let's go ahead and get started with this episode, very spooky Halloween episode of Talking Vegas All Day with me, KA.
Let's go to Vegas, baby. Let's go tonight.
Right now.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll stay up all night. Let's go to Vegas.
All right, folks. So our first stop on this tour is the Oasis Motel. And according to the site, and just for sure, I go around and check out supposed paranormal websites and all that. And this is one, VegasForAll.com, formerly called the Elm Lee Hotel, and dating back to post-war period. There's nothing remarkable about this hotel. In fact, it's with the OYO now, except for the nasty fact that several guests have checked into the hotel and then died horrible deaths. Yes, many of them were booked into the same room. In 1989, world-famous poker player Stu Ungar, widely regarded as the best Texas Hold'em player of all time, died wretchedly in room 20 of the Oasis Motel from a heart condition related to years of drug abuse. Less than a year later, actor Dave Strickland of Suddenly Susan fame hanged himself in room 20 in 1999 after bidding goodbye to a prostitute companion following a heavy night of drinking. Their spirits are rumored to still haunt the room in which they died. Both of these high-profile men had troubled histories with substance abuse, but you have to wonder what happened in room 20 that pushed them over the edge. If you're feeling adventurous, book room 20, and maybe you'll find out. So my take on this is pretty wild. Like, I've read this one, and I've seen a couple of these sites claim this one, and I picked this one because, I mean, you got people that are just dying in this room, and it's just one of those things where it's like, there's something going on there that's out of the realm of possibility. Like, one person, yeah, you can say something happened, but two people, and then other people have died in this room. Like, what's going on there? You know, there's such a thing as just bad aura of rooms, and I do believe in that a little bit to a degree. But man, just I would not stay a night in this room. I'm pretty bold. Like, I will go find, just to go look at stuff and see if there's something there. But that just creeps me out. Anyway, next on the list is the Westgate Resort and Casino, which I just was stayed at. And this actually is taken from their own website, believe it or not. Apparently, Elvis has not left the building. Yes, we all know the king, in fact, reportedly haunts the super luxurious Westgate Resort and Casino, where he performed for an astounding 837 shows between 1969 and 1976, when the resort was first known as the International and then the Las Vegas Hilton. For the record, the ghost of Elvis has allegedly been spotted on the upper, his Elvis suite, where it's 5,000 square foot size, located on the 30th floor, as well as backstage at the International Theater, which I now believe is now the Barry Manilow Theater. After you get your fill on ghost hauntings through the resort's endless corridors and other nooks, you'll definitely want to just simply relax and great offerings of Westgate. And it's a large outdoor pool which honestly is not that large, with the cabanas and Ward Wing Steakhouse. I just love how they're like halfway through that, like they tell a story, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, but stay at our hotel and casino." It's like it's kind of like Hotel Apache from last year. I find this fun, and like, oh, there's like ghosts. And I've read other stories. I think it was a Weird Nevada, and I've read a couple other good books where he haunts his, things will move in his suite, and there's been shadowy figures behind the cedars. So I mean, I've walked around that place a lot. The weird thing about that place is the hotel rooms. I will say that. I mean, not the rooms itself, but like the hallways. I could see somebody, real late at night. Like you walk out of that elevator, it's like flat, and the hallways are really long. So I could see somebody getting kind of spooked from that. And then from the same site is another story that sounds just as wild. And that's the tunnels of Sandhill Road. And I'm not sure if anybody knows this, but according to Westgate's website, again, another ad, say we didn't warn you, the Erie flood tunnels underneath Sandhill Road can be utterly terrifying, especially during a nighttime visit. According to visitors, the Sandhill Road tunnels have heard mysterious voices, and some late-night explorers society reported their cars getting chased down along adjacent dirt roads by a spirit of a crazy old woman who disappears suddenly as they depart the area in total fear. Is it possible the restless spirits of a couple that died in a car crash long ago at that site remain to haunt the tunnels of Sandhill Road for eternity? So I went and looked at this on another site, and I basically got like Vegas.com and the blogs, and some other people were talking about it, and basically a lot of it has people living in the tunnels with the ghostly voices, but there have been some reported like people getting really like just feelings of ominous, especially around the tunnel areas. I don't know, has anybody been to the tunnels areas? But I don't know, I take that as kind of the tunnels itself. I kind of take it as like people living in tunnels when they hear the voices and stuff. But as for the roads itself, like, I don't know, that kind of intrigues me. And then finally, from onthestrip.com, here's a story about a famous murder in Las Vegas that now sits on an existing property. And that would be the Venetian. As we know, basically sits really close to where Tupac was killed. While riding in the car, we all know they were headed from the strip on Flamingo Cove when gunfire erupted and killed Tupac. Fans say that certain dark nights, streetlights flicker on the corner while a shadowy figure in a bandana crosses an empty street. So some people still believe right around that area that Tupac is still, you can still see his spirit. And between 2 and 7 people have died during the construction of the Venetian as well. One dark and grisly rumor involved a worker who apparently trapped himself while finishing drywall on one of the hotel's upper floors. Living inside the hotel's walls for 7 days, he eventually perished from exhaustion. The hotel also sits on the former site of the Sands Hotel, hub for Friday mob activity that led to the death of many high-ranking members and associates. Some members and visitors claim the ghosts of mobs still roam the hallways looking for their next victim. Yeah, well, it wouldn't surprise me if that place is haunted. Venetian, again, it's big property. Any of these places, there's so much just with the mob and people not leaving this world or leaving this world suddenly. Oh, it wouldn't surprise me if that's haunted. But I found it interesting. I think the Tupac one was the one I found that kind of made me chuckle. I was like, wow, he might still be around. And okay, so as I'm actually talking and researching some notes here, I'm looking here at my computer, and I found this from the same story on thestrip.com. I was kind of scrolling into another article, and I'm finding another crazy one that I'm going to add right now, and that's at the Comma of all places. And this just sounds wild. So listen to this. Formerly known as Bill's Gambling Hall, and again, this is on onthestrip.com. Saloon in Barbary Coast. I mean, those are two places. And apparently there was another name of the place. Anybody knows the third name of the place before it was Cromwell? It was like Bill's Gambling Hall, Saloon, Barbary Coast, and there was something else. Cromwell's style of haunting differs from other ghosts and apparitions, and appears that appear on Las Vegas. These hauntings are said to take place within the mind, creating hallucinogenic experiences that lead to dark and depressing thoughts. Visitors on the top floor have reported sudden intrusive thoughts, trying to convince them of terrible, horrifying things. Others report scratching sounds coming from inside the walls, behind the headboards, and even in the walls themselves. Okay. So that to me sounds like just that could be something like Oasis. There's an area on one of those upper floors that just is got bad vibes, bad mojo, man. Like there's some places you just don't go in, and that just sounds like it. So I've never stayed there, but if anybody stayed on the top floor, I'd love to hear the story. But when I hear those kind of stories, I'm more convinced than like, hey, yeah, I was walking down the hall and saw a ghost. Now, I'm pretty sure I had paranormal experience at Bally's many years ago, but that's a whole nother story, and I think I told that on the show. And I'm pretty sure I had one. I know I had something weird happen at the original rooms at El Cortez too. But again, another story for another time. And it's either was a very electrical thing, but the lights don't dance like that. They just kept going on and on. Anyway, there you go. 5 stories in Las Vegas are supposedly haunted. But let's be honest, guys, they just make great fun stories. Again, I've put the links to all descriptions, so please go check out. There's some really good other stories, and honestly, for some of these episodes like that, I find just the best stories, and I tell them here because, hey, you don't want to have to go snoop for the stories, am I right? So just giving people the credit. I could cover some of these stories for months, honestly. Make sure to hit the like button on your way out. And if you like the show, again, leave a comment or better, click subscribe. If you want to interact with me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Talking Vegas All Day with KA, and Instagram, Facebook. Also, shows available on Spotify podcast platforms. Again, if you've had a paranormal experience, I'd love to hear about it. And Jay and I will be back soon, so we'll see you next time. And happy Halloween, everybody, on a brand new episode of Talking Vegas All Day with me, KA.